Hello and welcome back to First Thoughts. I'm Simon, this is Justin, and we're giving our first thoughts on Phone of Color 2!
Yes, Phone of Color. Thank you.
You didn't like African American Phone?
I did, but I felt Phone of Color was a proper
Sure.
response.
Well, that was a movie.
For those of you who don't know, this is obviously a sequel to The Black Phone, which was a horror movie that was written by Stephen King's son, adapted from a short story by Stephen King's son, Joe. Yes, his name is Joe King. Jesus Christ, Stephen.
Love it.
Although he doesn't go by King. I think he's trying to avoid the connection because he goes by Hill, Joe Hill.
Well, listen. I mean, there was not a child orgy in this film, so
Jesus.
it's clearly not a Stephen King story.
Anyway, the first one follows a kid named Finn and his sister, but mostly Finn, who gets grabbed by the grabber, aka Ethan Hawke. He is then locked in his basement and then begins receiving phone calls from the beyond on a phone. That color doesn't really matter, if we're being honest.
It's
so
black.
Don't bring it. You said it, not me.
Listen,
I can't avoid seeing patterns, okay?
listen. Normally, I don't see color, but when it comes to phones, all right, you gotta watch out for them black ones, apparently.
Blackberry. I can't think of any other.
Why do you think that's not big anymore? I watched that movie.
Anyway, notably though, at the end of that film, the grabber, aka the bad guy, dies. So, oddly enough, now 4 years later we have a sequel. Ooh, of course, because horror movies need sequels. So, same director is back. Joe Hill, King, whatever, is not involved in this movie really at all. He didn't write a sequel. This is just the writers deciding where they want to go with the story from there. Bring back primarily the same cast and then some new people, new faces. And yeah, this time a little more focused on the sister, Gwen.
A lot more focus on the sister.
Yeah, she feels like more of the main character as opposed to Finn, but they do share the screen a little bit.
Yeah.
And the plot of this is her dreams are back, the phones are back, and maybe there's something going on with the supernatural realm yet again. So, I saw The Black Phone back in 21, I think is when it came out. I saw it, I reviewed it. I remember enjoying it mostly, but it was fairly forgettable because I don't remember a whole lot about it. Didn't rewatch it. I haven't watched it since I saw it in theaters. You did not watch it until today.
Yes.
So you remember a lot more about it than I do. Like I said, I remember liking it okay, but haven't gone back in 4 years. How did you feel about it?
I thought it was pretty solid. You know me, not a horror guy. Never go
Yet.
out my way. You will never turn me into a horror guy, but I will see the movies with you.
And you'll enjoy some of them.
Yeah, I don't enjoy some of them, but I will almost certainly never go out of my way by myself to go see a horror film. It's just not my nature. But none of them have really been scary. These weren't really scary, although I will say the first one versus second one had a lot more shock horror moments, I think.
The first one did?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't...
Thinking of the ones I don't know how to describe them too well, but there was a lot more distorted dead kids in that one, seemingly.
Yeah, I felt like it was more... I don't know. I don't know what the budget difference was, but it felt like, I don't know, the kid actors were better in the first one, and the kid gore, they were all in makeup because they were all various levels of dead.
Yeah.
And I felt like it looked better in the first one from what I remembered.
Yeah.
I will say this movie started decently enough, though, as far as scares go. I thought I had a really decent level of anxiety for the first half hour, and then I feel like it just shut off, and I wasn't anxious again for the rest of the movie, which was unfortunate.
Yeah, once they started to explain a little bit, and they started to get a little clearer what was going on at this new location.
I kind of got bored a little bit.
Yeah, it took a bit of a turn. I think because the first one was more grounded in real
I was
life.
going to use that exact word, grounded.
I enjoyed it fairly more. Yeah.
Yeah, there was elements of this that I did enjoy, maybe even more than certain moments in the first one, but overall it just felt lower quality.
Yeah.
Especially the dialogue at times. I couldn't help but say it multiple times during the movie. It felt like Disney Channel dialogue. And it was weird because I had moments with, so I don't know the sisters, like Gwen, I don't know the actress's name. But she is played by Madeline McGraw, which, by the way, it's a weird thing to say. She looks like a 17-year-old would look in a movie, aka she looks like she's like low 20s.
Right.
She's actually 17 in real life, though, and that threw me off because I'm like, she doesn't, like, she looks 17, but a fake 17, not a real. Anyway,
Okay.
she was really good at times, and then really bad at times. And I was like, is the dialogue making her bad, or is she making the dialogue bad? And I decided I think it's the dialogue made her bad at times, and there was just some Disney Channel level shit, because it affected the whole cast at times. There were certain conversations that I was just like, why are they Disneyfying this right now? Not even just Disney Channel, like High School Musical up in this bitch, or Wizards of Waverly Place. She gave me some Selena Gomez vibes at times. But, like, she also was really good at, like, big emotions she needed to convey, like crying and being scared. I thought she did really good at some of that stuff. But then the subtler moments, I'm like, this is just Disney. I don't like it. Also, just, I don't know, I felt like the first story didn't need a sequel in any way.
No.
And this one took it in such a different direction that it's like, I would have been fine with the movie if it was a standalone movie, but not that I'm a huge fan of the first one, but I feel like fans of the first one would be insulted by this movie almost, because it's like, it's so different and kind of desecrates the first one in some ways to me, that I'd be like, if you love the first one, you'd be like, what the hell is this? What are you doing with this story?
Interesting.
That's just how I feel anyway. Maybe people that are big fans of it wouldn't feel that way, but yeah, it's not nearly as grounded. It's not nearly as, like, the first one felt like a Stephen King movie in a lot of ways. There was a lot of cool things about it. You know, also the kids were, like I said, I really liked the kids in the first one. It reminded me of, I think I even compared it to the newer It when I saw the first one, just in vibes. This one, no, it did not remind me of anything but Disney Channel and bad horror movies for the most part. Although, like I said, the first half hour really got my anxiety levels up. I think I was just giving the movie too much credit. And then once I started seeing things, I was like, oh yeah, I'm not scared of this at all. Oh well.
Yeah, I gotta say, with the very beginning, it still had us in an area where, after the killer is killed in the first movie, you will start wondering, how the hell is this one gonna go forward?
Yeah, what are we doing?
And then you start to figure it out.
And it's dumb.
Yeah.
It's, maybe dumb's not the right word, but it's just disappointing and anticlimactic.
It's not nearly as good.
Like, the best thing about the first movie, and there's a lot of pretty good things about it, but the best thing about it is Ethan Hawke. And you have significantly less Ethan Hawke in this movie.
Yeah.
And so it's just, you're just shooting yourself in the foot.
It's
automatically. Man, I've got a headache. I think, like, the first half hour getting my adrenaline going, and then I just, like, came down from it, and it just made me super tired. But this movie made me really tired. I don't know, but I've had a headache for the past hour. Ugh. Because really, my anxiety got going. So, like, in the first one, I don't remember as much how they did the effect, but, like, there's a dreaming effect. There's, like, that old VHS feel to stuff. And this one, they do that so much. But early on, it was really creepy and cool until I got bored of it.
Yeah.
And so, for the first half hour, like I said, I was, like, really into it for a little bit. I'm like, the acting's good. I'm excited to see where it's going. The cinematography is cool. There's cool, creepy sounds and music and stuff. And then it just didn't live up to the hype at all.
Like, I wouldn't watch the first one again, probably, because I just don't care about horror films like that.
Sure.
This wasn't some phenomenal film for me, but, like, I at least enjoyed it some.
Yeah, I enjoyed it,
This one really
too.
didn't have much of anything.
I don't remember what I gave the first one, but I would assume it was something like a 6.5. Because I did enjoy it. I enjoyed it a lot until the end. I thought the end was very Stephen King-y and silly. And I remember actually, because I didn't know until the review, literally, I think I have on camera, me going like, because I watched it and I was like, this had to have been Stephen King. You cannot tell me this wasn't written by Stephen King. And I go up to the car, I'm like, maybe his son wrote it. And I open it up, IMDb, and it goes Joe Hill. I'm like, Joe Hill, who the fuck? Come on, he must be a Stephen King super fan. And then I glance down and I see his picture, I'm like, that motherfucker looks like Stephen King. So I Google him, and it was his son. I'm like, I fucking know it. So, yeah, no, this one didn't have him involved, and I wish it did. Probably would have been better. Anyway, yeah, so that's what we had to think. We're going to get into spoilers now, though. So if you don't want anything spoiled, you should click away, go watch it, and then come back and we can talk about it then. But don't forget to like, share, follow, subscribe, all that. Thanks, guys. Bye. So, yeah, this movie becomes a meandering version of Nightmare on Elm Street, essentially, because we spend so much time in the dream world, because that's where Ethan Hawke is, and he can only hurt her when she's asleep. And it's like, why did you do that? Why is that what this franchise has now become? That's not remotely the first movie. He was a real person right there.
But now he's dead.
Now he's dead. Why not just bring him back to life? Like, I thought they were gonna go, like, you know, a Halloween route or a Friday the 13th route where it's just, he just keeps coming back inexplicably. But no, you went a Nightmare on Elm Street route? And that's bizarre.
I don't have an analogous horror movie for this, but I just figured there was gonna be some sort of connection to this new camp, like there's a second killer or a copycat. Or,
yeah, we both.
At one point, we thought there might have been a mentor, and then it just was. No, I was there.
I really thought I was with you. I thought the pastor was bad in some way, because there was just too much going on there. And
we had three suspects, so it just went.
I didn't think we had three. I thought we had one, and it was him.
I thought it was him or the woman.
I didn't believe for 1 second she was involved, and maybe I should have. That would have been clever, because I wouldn't have seen it coming.
I didn't really think she was, but like, if it's not the pastor, I thought it was gonna be her, and then it turned out to be none of them. So
yeah. But like, I expected something like that, because you find out his first killings happened at this camp really long ago, and I'm like, okay, so but he wasn't a kid there. He was one of the student, like, leaders or whatever. So I'm like, maybe he had a mentor, or maybe he saw the killings and it scarred him and he went insane and that's why he started killing people, or whatever. And so then we've got this thing that they treat like it's a mystery, where they're writing letters one at a time, but they answer it so fucking quickly that the writer in me, or the critic in me, both of them got together, shook hands, and went, that's bullshit. Because if there's a mystery in a movie, you don't answer it in the first half hour, or whatever it is. If they answer it that quickly, that means it's a lie, and there's going to be a real answer later. So I'm like, the WBH has to stand for something other than what they think it is. It's actually flipped upside down, and that's an M, because Mando is the bad guy, and his middle name is an upside down B, I don't know, and H is the same way both ways. So I'm like, that's clever, and I can't wait to see the reveal. And then it's just like, it never gets brought up again. And nope, he was just the bad guy the whole time.
It was just Wild Bill Henderson.
And it was just so, like, okay, why'd you even bring that up? It kind of felt like it mattered in a previous draft of the script, and then it got rewritten so many times that got dropped, and then they forgot to take that part out. But yeah, it just was useless. It didn't mean anything. And then it reminded me of, because we're in the dream world, and she started to believe, where she realizes, oh shit, this is my dream, bitch. I can do whatever the fuck I want. So she turns into 11 for all of 2 seconds, because she blows up the phone booth.
Yeah.
And then goes like, and I can do whatever I want. So instead of killing you, I'm waking up. And I'm like, just fucking kill him right now. What are you waiting for?
No, because then, Big Bro had to jump in. And I guess they could affect him in the dream world without being one of the people asleep. But never tried that beforehand, because I guess they never got close to him.
She has to be asleep in order for him to hurt other people, I guess.
Yeah, I don't really.
It didn't make any sense.
But if she's asleep, then they can hurt him too, or something.
Yes, as long as you can find him, he's invisible.
Yeah,
but tangible.
But just start swinging, yeah.
Yeah. But other things aren't necessarily connected because, like, she pulls up all of the barrels out of the water.
That was the only other thing was I started thinking, because they were saying we need to get them out the water for him to lose his strength or whatever. And I started thinking, okay, maybe when they got one or two of them out, he all of a sudden became tangible to regular people.
I don't think that was a thought.
I don't know. I was just trying, because I was very confused.
My point is she pulls those bitches out, but then they pop out later to trip him.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and that's why I turned to you and I said, how many kids were there? Because she already pulled out 3 barrels, and then another one popped out, and then another one popped out.
She kicked up a couple of the barrels, but she never got any of them out of the water, I don't think.
Well, they had already pulled out the one before her.
Yeah, which was weird, because then the dad pulls out one.
Yeah,
and then there was 2 others.
No, I think they pulled out that one together. She kicked it up, and then he pulled it out.
Right. And then the 2 popped out to stop him, right?
Yeah.
And then we were saying
too fucking many.
But then we were saying there's already one that they pulled out earlier, right?
Yes.
So that's the thing. The one earlier, I don't know if they ever pulled it out or just saw it in the water.
Regardless, there were too many barrels.
It seemed like it.
There was too many, and they were in the wrong place.
But she's just like kicking them up, and then all of a sudden later on they sprung up to grab them.
It was stupid.
But they're
anyway,
dead. Still.
Going back to my point that started this tangent, and Don't Worry Darling, which you haven't seen and probably never will see because it's garbage. Although it's one of my favorite things to quote because, okay, so that movie, to recap for you and those of you who haven't seen it, and if you haven't seen this point, fuck you, we're in spoilers, and that movie is like 3 years old. So that I don't know if you remember the trailer for that at all, but Florence Pugh and Harry Styles and other people living in this perfect 50s world.
Yep.
But then something is fucky. It turns out it's all a simulation run by the guys who are too poor to be successful in real life, but are rich enough to rent out their own Matrix and live in this Matrix, which is a monthly subscription that they all pay for, put their wives in it so that they can also live in it and have these perfect lives, but the women don't know, only the men know. Commentary there.
Okay.
So at a certain point, though, Florence Pugh finds out that she's in this simulation Matrix, and her realizing that she now is in the computer world, she immediately responds by bursting the streetlights. And then never does anything again as far as superpowers. Yeah. She then proceeds to try to get out and, go on foot. I'm like, fly, bitch! But my favorite thing to quote from that movie is when Florence Pugh's having that big reveal, like, revelation moment. She's like, you did this. You trapped me here. You're evil. Harry Styles goes, mm-mm. And I quote that all the she's just like, you're evil. And he's like, mm-mm. Hold on, let me see if I can find the YouTube clip because I love it so much.
You're psychotic. You're psychotic.
Anyway, but yeah, so this bitch is the same bitch as Florence Pugh, apparently, because it's just like, I have unlimited power to do one thing, and that's it. Never gonna do anything again. Except for I'm gonna recruit an army of dead children. It's like, it's Inception. You have to dream a little bit bigger, darling. You can fucking do whatever you want. It's your dream, and all you're doing is fucking nothing, essentially.
Hey, she blew up the thing and then knocked him down, and then like headbutted him or something.
I would have made that bitch explode into pulp.
That was the brother's kill. And then
they had to be like, hey, he's still a character too. We can't let her do everything.
And I thought it was odd. They're dragging him to the water, but like since he got stopped by one of the dead bodies. The dead bodies are still dead. They're not letting go. They have to cut off his leg to pull him out.
But then he had to quickly swipe and grab his mask before they threw him in, so he could have it for the sequel.
Of course.
But I also love how just them throwing him into the lake over the edge of the broken ice was a recreation of when they beat the shit out of Pennywise and he goes, fear, and then drops away. They're like, we have to make him swing around and drop because we have to do the Pennywise thing. Yeah, because Stephen King,
You know, it's a king on king reference.
Except for Joe King was not involved at all.
It's a king by way of king.
But yeah, there was just like nothing ended up happening in this movie.
No, I did expect a lot more from her from her finding out she can control her dream. After the one guy, was it her brother or Ernesto, said, well, it's your dream, is it? Can you fight back or whatever the fuck he said?
I think your brother said that essentially.
Yeah. It's like,
but yeah,
you gotta try fighting back. It's your dream, isn't it?
There was so many dumb things said in this movie. I lost track of them, so I don't even remember. But it pissed me off in the one scene when, like, so they're searching. They know the kids are in the frozen lake,
right?
So they've spent all day searching the lake, and it's time to go home and go to bed. She sits down on this like wagon with Mustang, and she tries to get up to leave, and Mustang goes, "Nah, you've done too much work. Sit down." And she immediately falls asleep. And then Mustang goes, "Guys, come here!" And so the guys come running over, and Ernesto, her boyfriend, turns to her brother and goes, "She accidentally fell asleep." I was like, "Bitch, I saw. Yes, I know. Why are you telling me? We know the same amount of information here."
Well, you know.
He literally just said that, so then Finn could go, "Accidentally? I don't think so." It's just such bad writing. Literally, the line was said just so a different line could be said. That's the only plausible reason you'd say that. You had no other fucking reason to say it.
Listen. They had a line they needed, all right?
A dumb one? Why did he even need to say that? I would have cut both lines. They're both stupid. You just saw she fell asleep. They run over. Cut back to her.
But how do we know if it was accidental or on purpose?
Doesn't matter.
What if spirits were putting her to sleep? What if she was just really tired? What if she
really
was
tired.
drugged?
What if it was Bill Cosby?
What if the cold affects her? Yeah.
I just wanted one motherfucking person to die in this movie, by the way. Nobody fucking died. How do you make a horror movie and nobody dies? Not one. Except for the kids that were already dead and her mom who was already dead.
Mondo made it. The couple made it.
I thought for sure Mondo was dying. Then I thought the whole couple was going to die because they both got, like, scalped.
Yeah.
And then we just glossed right over that. I thought when he skated by, he was going to cut both their heads off. Or actually, I thought he was going to cut his head off and was going to fall into her lap and she was going to scream.
Yeah.
That's what I thought was going to happen. But then he scalped both of them. But there's just a little bit, I guess. I don't know. They were both fine.
It's a thin cut across both.
And then I was like, okay, well, maybe Ernesto's going to die. No, nobody died.
Ernesto, the three of them I always knew were safe.
Except for when we thought Ernesto might be a bad guy somehow.
Yeah, okay. After we were convinced he was a good guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I figured he was safe. You can't kill off the boyfriend.
Sure you can.
She's got a Mac on him. She's got to go have a happy life for afterwards until a third movie, if we need a third movie.
Dude. Speaking of bad dialogue, I pointed this out during the movie too, but so, from the dad's perspective,
Yeah.
he sends them off to their new job at a camp. Presumably for the season. You don't know how long. I guess it's a winter camp. It just started.
Yeah.
So for the next 2-3 months, they're going to be working at this camp.
Something like that.
And then a blizzard hits. And they talk on the phone, and he goes, "Yep, I'm snowed in too. It's crazy. All right, well, bye. I love you." And then he calls up another guy, says, "You know how I got a favor? I need to call in that favor." Gets a plow from him. Drives it to the camp, pops out, and says, "Hey, kids." And then the son goes, "All right, we're going home. We need to go home." And then the daughter goes, "I'm not going home." And her brother goes, "What? Why?" And then the dad chimes in and goes, "Yeah, why?" I'm like, why do you want them to come home? That was never the plan. You just showed up like, "All right, let's fucking go." Why? From your perspective, you just showed up 3 days into their 3-month job.
Listen. Maybe we missed it. Maybe it just was maybe it was off screen. It wasn't important. Maybe I'm assuming they just told him.
Mm-hmm.
We got here. There's no kids, had no job.
Remember when
Kinda
they were
snowed in.
driving in the blizzard and it was too blizzardy to see, and so the brother gets out of the car to walk and lead the way.
To jog in front of the car.
Yeah, and then that lasted 2 seconds before they then meet somebody else who says, "Follow me, I'll lead the way." What the fuck was the point of that?
Oh, they needed someone to lead the way, and then
That's what, like, that.
led the way accidentally into another lane.
That scene, it feels like it was adapted from a book, but it wasn't, because that feels like they wanted to stay true to the book but didn't have enough time, so just sped through a scene that was longer in the book. It's not based on a book, so once again, you know what that was? Rewrites! And for some reason, they just forgot to take that part out!
It's obvious. They can't see the road, right? So he gets out because he's got better visibility with the snow going into his unprotected eyes, right? Right? And he can see a lot further than they can in the car with the windshield wipers and the bright lights. And then Mustang, I assume that was, showed up on a Mustang and, led the way.
I will defend the decision, because if you trip and fall into a pothole, it's better than a car getting stranded.
That's fair. I feel like it should have been a slower process then. Let me jog ahead, though.
Yeah, but you gotta prove how manly he is in front of the new boyfriend.
You need to be at least this manly to date my sister.
God. And I love how it's like, they both went through an application process, I'm assuming, to get this job. I'm assuming. Because that's how jobs work.
Oh, yeah, no, he did say, you guys didn't mention a church on your application. So, yeah, they did submit applications.
Yes. Okay. My point is, they're getting ready to leave. I assume it's a single-day drive. It is implied it's a single-day drive there.
Yeah, sure.
Last minute, her brother, Finn, I keep saying brother, we know their names, Finn decides, fuck it, I'm going too.
Oh, yeah.
He's hired upon the spot, apparently. They don't question, just say, yeah, go bunk over there in that cabin. It's like, what?
He's just going to turn around in a couple of days, Maybe if he had to sleep in the car, he'd sleep in the car.
I don't know, man. This movie was horribly written. It felt like too many cooks in the kitchen or something.
Hey, we need to come up with something to justify a sequel. Now, my really only question about this sequel...
Only one? Really? Okay.
Well, I guess... Yeah, pretty much only question I really have.
Sure.
I get most of the other decisions, even though they weren't great. I can see where they came from to an extent.
Bad writing, yes.
Yeah,
I can see it too.
Yeah.
I can see it now.
I'm not denying that. My only question was, do you think the new mom's backstory was in the original short story, or is it an invention to justify the sequel? Because that just feels like the justification for the sequel.
Yes, and that it was the primary point that I was leaning toward when I was saying it feels like an insult to the first one.
Yeah.
There's several things about this movie that feel insulting the first one, but that was certainly one of them.
I figured that might be part of it, because take away the whole suicide, the dreams driving her crazy.
Making her go crazy.
Killing herself, leading to all the stuff that's happening to them, to now she was just killed by, I want to keep calling him Buffalo Bill, but Wild Bill.
Wild Bill
Heisenpfeifer.
I'm not Bill. That was such a pointless thing too, man.
He's the
grabber. Why do you have multiple names? And I really thought, because that phone conversation, he starts with a line from the previous phone conversation. I guess it's a radio conversation with Mando, or whatever his name is. But it starts out with him saying what he had said to Finn, which is it's your fault. You killed him. You made me kill my brother. And so he says the you killed him kind of thing when he first starts the conversation with Mando. And I'm like, see, yeah, he is the bad guy. I'm like, no, he was just saying that for no reason, apparently. And then he goes I know you're there, Bill. And he goes, I'm not Bill. Snowball. I think that's when I truly lost any interest in this movie, was when the jump scare was a snowball at the window that made a smiley face.
But listen. Not only that, but them doing that 3 times in a row, just changing the face a little.
Yeah, making it more and more grabber.
Yeah. That was hilarious.
It was pretty bad. It really felt Disney Channel-esque, or maybe even Nickelodeon, I don't know.
It was crazy, though, because every single time they did it, I kept
Goosebumps,
expecting something scary,
Yeah.
and then it was just the snowman face. Slightly different.
Yeah. You know what? This actually really reminded me of Goosebumps now that I think about it. This was Goosebumps. The first one's a legit, like I said, reminded me of it in some ways. Legitimate horror movie. Not great, but legitimate horror movie.
Yeah.
This movie was Goosebumps with really silly swearing. Like Disney Channel writers learned how to swear for the first time. And gore. There's a lot of blood in this for Goosebumps. But it's other than that, R.L. Stein wrote this shit, man.
I'm gonna carry that fuck yourself with the dinosaur dick forward.
Like seriously, every time she swore, it sounded like it was her first time swearing. And she's like, "Ooh, golly, I get to say fuck. Ooh, and I say twat now, can I? Ooh, you're a thunder cunt," or whatever the fuck she said. It was so bad, dude. It was terrible. And I'm like I said, like I liked her. I did. I thought she was pretty good. But there was those moments that were so painful. The conversation with her dad about knowing how mom really died was painful. And then there was one moment that gave me Saved by the Bell vibes when she went, "I feel crazy! I feel crazy!" And I was like,
I'm so excited.
brother, when you are going crazy, you don't say, "I feel crazy." You don't. You just go like, "Oh God, help, please, help. He's trying to kill me." You don't go, "I feel so crazy right now."
But how else would we have known that she was feeling crazy after, constant murderous sleepwalking dreams that affect you in real life in various ways and
Yeah.
are driving you insane?
Yeah, what a waste of a movie. Because there were some good concepts in there. I wouldn't have even been mad about the Nightmare on Elm Streetification of it if they had done something cool with it. But they didn't.
Hey, but you saw him skating on the ice at the end, and then
With skates made of ice. They
Yep.
truly were ice skates.
yes.
And ripping his mask off and tearing his face off with it, also not a bad idea. But yeah, for a movie with only one villain, they sure didn't like to show him. Ethan Hawke was barely in this movie. And he's so, it sounds crazy to say, but the Grabber is so cool. I didn't know child predators were cool, but Ethan Hawke plays it in such a sinister way. And there's only one or maybe two moments of true menacing we get from Ethan Hawke in this. Everything else is just standard filler moments, or he's just doing a haunted house routine, throwing her around and stuff, but he's invisible.
Yeah.
It just was so disappointing. There was nothing cool with him. And then, like I said, he's barely in it. Nobody dies. And there's just stupid family drama that didn't need to be in there with Disney Mickey Mouse acting and writing. Maybe it's worse than a 5. I don't know.
I'll stick with my never thinking about it again.
Yeah, I don't think it was offensive enough to be worse than a 5 because it was just boring. Was its main thing. It was it felt boring and it felt useless. It just felt pointless. I didn't gain anything from watching this.
Yeah.
So I think 5's probably fair, but maybe a weak 5. I don't know. I'm tired. All right. Well, I think we're done. We are sidetracked and we are bored, and this movie was blah.
What a movie.
Thanks for watching, guys. Fuck you, joking. It's not your fault. It's not your fault. It's Scott Dickerson or whatever the fuck his name is. Derrickson? I don't know.